top 10 household items that fish keepers use that you didn't know we used. And if you live with a fish keeper, you may not know that they use them. Here we are. All right, so when I first got into fish keeping, I thought, okay, what do you need? What are the basics that you need to get this hobby off the ground? You need your tank, filter, you need a heater, a light, decor, your fish, thermometer, and food. You're like, done. If you don't have a surface to put your tank on, then you also need a stand. That's pretty much all you think you need, right? Then you really get into fish keeping and you discover that on the daily you're using things from around your house that are totally not related, you would think, to fish keeping, but actually they're indispensable. I'll start with the one that you probably think, yup, you're dealing with water, of course you need towels, but you don't realize that you're actually going to have a whole fleet of towels that are forever ordained the fish towels, and they can't be used for anything else. You really wouldn't want to use them for anything else. Something else you probably didn't think you would need. As the cycle starts, you develop diatom algae, that brown dust algae that starts to cover the glass, and suddenly you can't see into your fish tank anymore. And you need something to clean the glass with. So you start using a credit card or a sturdy plastic gift certificate. That's what I use, and I have different ones for the different tanks. They could use a razor blade. You could buy the fancy razor blade on a stick. You could also use the mag float for larger tanks. You've got fancy hardscape that you either collected or purchased for an insane amount of money. Same goes for wood, whether you just collected it in your own backyard, go out hiking, or if you've bought manzanita wood, any of the ones that you can find that are considered fish safe, you're gonna have to do something with that. You need to prep it before you put it in your tank because you want to avoid having any type of nasty parasites or eggs or anything that could be on that wood. So you're gonna need a pot. Yeah, you're gonna need a pot to boil it in. Don't boil your rocks. If there's any type of air pockets in those rocks, they can explode and just become a really super dangerous projectile. So when it comes to cleaning your rocks, you simply want to put them in really hot water and just let them soak, scrub them. You don't use any type of detergents or soaps. But the wood you want to boil for like a good at least 20 minutes to a couple of hours. So you're gonna need a pot. Don't use your kitchen pots. Seriously. Something else I didn't realize I needed, it was super glue, in specific cyanoacrylate. It becomes completely inert once it hits water, but it's what you use to attach some of those beginner-friendly plants, the epiphytic plants, to your wood or your rocks, because the roots of these epiphytic plants, like your Java moss, your Anubias nana petite, their roots need to be above the ground, and the best way to do it is to either use super glue. You can attach it using string like fishing line, or I like to sew, which means I've definitely used cotton thread in the past, but I find the easiest one is a super glue. The one thing to keep in mind is that a little goes a very long way. You can very easily have a very unattractive aquascape very quickly if you put more than just a teeny tiny drop to it. If you're using the bucket system for water changes, which for my nano tanks, I'm definitely still at that level and probably will be for always, as long as I have nano tanks, you're gonna want some way to slow the flow of the water. So you pour it in slowly. All right, I find you can either put your hand as you pour it in, but if you're using like a 5-gallon bucket, then it's a little bit tricky to do that. The cutest way to slow the flow is to get yourself an adorable little colander and just pour it in, and it disperses the water flow. It's fantastic. Yogurt cups. You always need little specimen cups, whether you're removing food, need to remove some of your top floating plants so that you can get in to access your tank. There's always a reason to have a yogurt cup or a mason jar or something lying around so that you can scoop out some things. And yeah, you need a spoon. Whether you're mixing food or feeding your fish, you're gonna wanna dedicate a spoon. Your family or your housemates will be so much happier knowing that you have a spoon that is used only for the fish and not in the mix, and that they could at some random point be eating off of a fish food spoon. Freezer. I didn't realize that I would somehow end up with 2 shelves in my freezer that are dedicated to fish food. Before you know it, you're gonna go down that rabbit hole of trying all these different foods for your fish, because variety is the spice of life, and the same goes for the fish too. I keep solely in the freezer and I just pull it out as I use it. Other ones I'll just take like tiny amounts and keep them out by the tanks, and the rest I store in the freezer. An extendo back scratcher, chopstick, any pokey thingy, something to reach inside your tanks and move stuff around. And the number one strange thing you didn't realize you needed, but you really do, a turkey baster. Seriously, a turkey baster. Yes, a turkey baster. Do a little spot clean, use the turkey baster. Suck up on eating food, use the turkey baster. Remove fry, use the turkey baster. Remove dead shrimp, use the turkey baster. I'm telling you, it's the number one tool you didn't know you needed in your fish keeping hobby. It's like the dust buster in the fish keeping world. I hope you enjoyed this little look into the weird and wonderful things that we use. Just random household items that us fish keepers use. I bet you'll never look at a turkey baster the same way again. Love it if you stick around, like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Oh, no, I still can't think of it. Razor blade. Yes, you could use a razor.